Chris from Chelsea Name Games. So finally getting around to doing a comic book video of part of my collection. So what I'm gonna do, take the next few videos over the course of the next few weeks. I'm gonna go through my comic book collection. And as you see, I've got a few of these boxes right here. I'm gonna pull some books out of here and we're just gonna discuss some of the options and things about these books that I like about them and kind of go from there. So we're gonna start off today with Flash number 200, right? So here's Flash number 200. As you can see, this is the iconic Flash that we know and love today, right? Not that wussy boy Flash that the new age stuff. No. This is the tough age Flash from back in the day. Okay. So this book is actually pretty special to me. One of the first books I ever actually collected in the industry. When I went home to get my comic books from my mom's house, these were actually stuck away in a box. I didn't realize it was there. But yes, this is a pretty awesome year. The one cool thing about this book is that it's the 200th issue for it. It's actually an anniversary edition for the Flash. And you'll see down here on the bottom, it is about the 200th anniversary issue special edition here, right? This book is not in super great condition, as you can tell. I mean, it is a little darker in color. It does have, you know, I guess you want to say it's just dark, right? I wouldn't say it's stained or anything. It's actually relatively decent. But if you look at the book up close, it got some some stuff here, staple stuff as well. But the drawing's great. Love the artwork. It is a 15-cent comic right here. It is from 1970, so it is a 54 years old. That's pretty significant, a 54-year-old comic book. I use the standard backing and the blue tape on the back just to make sure I can open these up when I choose to do so. Because the book is so old, I mean, I've thought about in the you know, getting this comic book graded. Currently, in a high value, this book's about $45 on Key Collector. It really depends. Like, I could probably sell this for a little bit more for a person that was, you know, big into collecting Key comics that are Flash specific, right? We always talk about what's the price, what's it going to sell for, right? Well, it's going to sell for whatever someone's willing to buy it from you, essentially. But I don't think I'll ever sell this book. I'd love to say, I'd love to get graded to preserve this book because it is so old now. And you know, and with each passing year, there's less and less people that are liking these old nostalgic, these older style comics because they become less available. And it seems like the comic community is not as entrenched as it used to be. I mean, the people today like the graphic novels. They like to have the instant gratification. They like technology. This is not technology. This is different, right? So I don't know. We talk about all the time with people I know that what's in store for the comic community in the future, and we don't know. We don't know if the comic community is going to die off. We don't know if there's enough, you know, enough, I guess, like need or desire for it anymore, right? And that's a shame because it's been around for a long time. And just knowing that books like this exist is pretty awesome. So one of the synopsis from here is that it's a new series artist by name of Herb Novick. And the writer is Robert Kaner. Scattered the number 200 throughout this landmark issue of the form, right? So there's a lot of different 200s inside here to kind of recognize, hey, 200, right? And this is really based off of the a foreign spy, Dr. Lou brainwashing the Scarlet Speedster, okay? So that's all I'm going to give you in this portion here. It's a very interesting book. It's been a long time since I read this book. I'm afraid to read it, actually. Maybe I get my white gloves out and read it and actually deal with the book here. But yeah, it's one of my favorite books in my collection. Just a beautiful edition. And I think I only have a few of the Flash even left. I think I've sold most of them off. This is one I'm going to keep forever. So that's a good Flash there for me. The next book I'm going to talk about is actually a newer age book. I wouldn't say newer, but it's near dear to my heart too, because I ended up getting the free comic book day version of this book, and I believe I had two of them. I may have sold one now, but this book is from 2002. It's a DC Vertigo. So DC Comics has the smaller entities, and Vertigo is the one of their subcategories for it. This book's called Fables, right? So let's check out this artwork. I love this artwork here. This is Fables, and you can see this is beautiful artwork here. You get the tree in the background, right? You get the man. It looks like the woman with the apple right here, pig up top here. And so it's very interesting book. This is the 1 of 1. This book currently is going for in high copy. This is a mint condition copy. I would say this is definitely a 9.6, if not a 9.8 candidate for sure. This is going for about $60. The reason I like this book is because, well, there are 5 different variants, and I'll discuss it a little bit here. So the variants are different covers for the variant itself, right? They have one that's $65. The original reprints are about $3 a piece. There's three different reprints, and then there's an actual Comics Pro version, which is $4. I like this one the best, the cover wise, and obviously who wouldn't? It's the first of the best. That's a top cover, right? But anyways, I'll read a little bit about the synopsis of this book real quick here, if I can pull it up. So essentially, this book came out in July 2002. The writer is Bill Willingham, and the artist is James Jean. James Jean, right? So this here, the synopsis, is in which we meet many of our principal players, and we get the first hint or two of some of the myriad troubles to come in this fictional land called New York City, right? So this is pretty interesting. I recommend, if you like something that might be different, this is something that I definitely recommend. Takes place in New York City by a guy named Jack. He speedily arrives at the Woodland luxury apartments. He rushes up to the security office of a Bigby Wolf. Out of breath, he wants to report a terrible crime. Nearby, the business office of Snow White, Beauty and the Beast have some problems of their own. So, think of it like, take all the Disney stories, all the Grimm's fairy stories, and put them into one book, and this is what you're getting. So, recommend, good read. I haven't read in a while. I really enjoy the book, though. It's super nice. Yeah, let me know what you think about this here. All right, so that's just 2 of the books I have for today. Let's see, I pulled a couple more books out of here as well. All right, we're going to start with my Rogue and or Gambit books here, okay? If you know anything about me, I do like, a big fan of X-Men. Big fan of X-Men. And Gambit's one of my favorite X-Men characters, actually, and so is Jubilee. So I'm trying to get Jubilee's first appearance. I have not been able to acquire one for a good price yet. So one thing I wanted to go over is one of the newer age books here. This is Rogue and Gambit #1. This is a variant edition. And so this is recently come out in the last year or two. This is a great looking book. You got Spider-Man up top here. You got Rogue and you got Gambit. And then it looks like a little bit of Wolverine down here with the Jubilee in the background here. Great iconic cover. I love this here. It does go over, it is the first issue of the Love War Dinosaurs, right? And it's a fossil foil variant. So it's not an actual style, it's not an actual foil, so you don't see anything glistening on the front cover. But it's a really nice cover. To incorporate all those characters in there is pretty cool if you ask me. I have not read this book. I ended up getting it from basically like a grab bag essentially. So I bought a couple books, and this one just came as like an extra book into it. Really nice cover. So once I read it, I'll let y'all know what I think about it. But it's pretty decent. Let me see if I can find out any details about the book real quick. Look it up here. So this is called Rogue and Gambit. Well, doesn't have anything in. All right. Can't find it. Easy day. Worked for me. Let's see here. Let's see if I find something different. Nope. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. The next book I want to talk about is Gambit and the Externals, right? So Gambit's a good character, like I said, character of mine. This is the Gambit and Externals #1. Really cool cover. You got Gambit sitting right here in the middle. And then you got the rest of his characters. I mean, it even looks like it's like I don't even know. He looks like what do you call it? A Ghost Rider down here a little bit. Looks like a different type of Cyclops up here. Just different type of characters in this one. I have not read this book, but it does look really interesting. I ended up getting it. I can't remember actually how I got this book. I think because I like Gambit. I just want to get the Gambit in general, you know? So let's see if I can find some details about this book specifically, and we will go from there. What are some of your favorite comic book characters? That's the question I have for everybody. You know, I mean, sometimes I think it's important to, you know, identify what do you like, what don't you like, you know what I mean? And you know, are these characters, you know, like, is X-Men the great ones for you? Is not, that kind of thing. Now, looking up Gambit in here, there's a ton of Gambit novels. You got Gambit from 1988, 93, 97, 99, and continues all the way down. So it's quite a bit of them. I didn't realize there was this many Gambit-style comic books here. Let's see if we can find this one here. Gambit and the Externals. There it is. This is from 1995. And this is actually a variant cover. Honestly, I didn't realize this was a variant cover. This is a second print is what it is. So it doesn't tell you on the cover if it's first, second print or anything else. So sometimes you just gotta know that. And it's an X-Men Deluxe Edition. So it's only like a $3 comic book, nothing too crazy. But I thought it was pretty interesting. Second print for it, 1995. So the publisher is obviously Marvel. Came out in March 95. And so the synopsis of this is enter now the age of apocalypse. The Externals escape some Apocalypse's men and meet up with their leader, Gambit, who has joined up with Magneto in a plan to steal the M. Crane crystal. So there you go. So that's kind of the premise of this here. Pretty decent book. I said I like this cover. It's pretty neat. Something I like about it. All right, now we're going to go into one of my favorite actual series. I really enjoy this one. This is, I think I have one book of these. I think I might have more than one, but let's take a look here. So Gambit, his original comic book series came out in 1993. And if you don't know much about Gambit, Gambit has the ability to take like cards and throw them around, make them just, like electrocute and that kind of stuff, right? He has his pole that he carries around with him. And he's pretty awesome, right? He's like the bad boy of all the X-Men anyways, right? So when we think about Gambit, I do have Gambit #1 from 1993. Now this is a really awesome, distinct cover. The comic goes for about $8 to $10 in mint condition. I'd say this, my cover is probably about a 9 too, honestly. It just, the black coloring here shows things very easily. So if you have a spine tick or a crease something, the black's gonna show it. And you'll see I have a couple like right there, you can see. So I'd say like a 9.2, maybe 9.0 on this book here. I just like the way this looks. I mean, it's got big old Gambit letters here. He's up top here showing his face off, and he's really enjoying himself, right? So this book here does have some variant covers to it. There are newsstands, or then there's a gold base. So this one here is the direct edition. You'll see right here, I have the direct edition on the barcode here. The newsstand doesn't have this one, it's just the actual barcode itself. One of the covers that's actually a little more expensive is the gold plate. So you see how this is black background and gold lettering, or out around the lettering, right? The gold edition is essentially reverse. So it's a gold background with black on the outside of the lettering. And that book's going for about $225 in mint condition, or a top high condition. So that's called the gold foil embossed edition. I've never seen one in person, and boy, if I do, I'm definitely gonna try to buy that comic book. That is a beautiful comic book. The way Gambit pops out on it, and all these spots with the cards right here, they're bright red. It's a gorgeous book. So definitely I can see that one being something that people highly sought after. But the detail of this specific book, so the writer is Howard Mackey, and then the cover artist is Lee Weeks. Okay, so it's very interesting. December 1993. So the premise of this book here, it says, Henry LeBeau sneaks into an X mansion and tells his young stepbrother Gambit that the time of the teething has come and is needed in New Orleans as the Assassins Guild is trying to break up the old pacts. All right, so that is his premises of this entire series. Right, pretty neat look. We're gonna go into the second book of that. Now I have 2 copies of Gambit #2. So Gambit #2, I have the newsstand copy right here, and you'll see the newsstand copy is just the barcode itself. And then I have the direct edition, which is awesome to have. Some people like to collect both copies. They like to have both the newsstand and the direct edition. There's also other copies out there that may include what's called a Mark Jewelers. So Mark Jewelers is a jewelry store insert that's added inside a lot of the comic books. Those were produced or are provided around most like military bases. And the reason being is a young military person going on base. Oh, I see Mark Jewelry. I'm reading comic books. That's where I'm gonna go get my jewelry from my girlfriend or whatever. And that's why it was primarily there. Those books are usually a little more sought after, and they're hard to come by. Not every book has them, and so you might have that possibility that when you pick up an old comic book, especially from the 80s and early 90s, Mark Jeweler is one that's probably going to be available. Like I said, it's a pretty cool book. The one thing about this book here, it's not a specific key comic book for anything. Like the last book we just talked about was the first title series, this one here. First title series featuring Gambit. It talks about the origin in Gambit and the assassination society he's in. It's the first appearance of Kendra, the benefactress. It's also the first team appearance of the Assassin's Guild, which is obviously where he comes from, right? And so that's why that book is such a key book for Gambit himself. This book here just continues the story. It doesn't say anything specific about it, but I thought it was pretty cool. The artwork's really great. You can see you got the cards all around it here. Gambit's known for having those red back of the cards there. And then he's got something going on here with this girl. Looks like she's wrapped up in his jacket, essentially. So something happened to her. He's taking care of her, right? Now, I also have the third book in the series, Gambit number 3. Again, not a key issue. It's going about $3 in a higher grade. I do have the direct edition right here. You see, direct edition. And this is pretty cool. I like how Gambit is here, and you'll see the enemy that he's fighting over on top here, right? Just coming down on top of him. Pretty neat. Because I haven't read this book myself, but it does look pretty cool. I do not have the fourth book in the series. The fourth book in the series is Gambit number 4. This is a short print series, I guess you want to call it. A mini series, how they call it. So only 4 books in the series. But Gambit's role has been reprised multiple times throughout the Marvel Universe. So he does have all kinds of different series or volumes, essentially, with it, and I'll get into that in 1 second. So then I have another series here. This is I think this is 22. Make sure I'm right. Make sure I'm the right one. Yes. So this is Gambit number 1 from 2022. So this is one of the other volumes of the book. So this book is a key comic specifically because it talks about the origin of Gambit, specifically his path to becoming an X-Man while teamed up with Storm, right? So this is pretty interesting. To find out originally in that original series where he came from and the whole deal with his Assassin's Guild is pretty cool. But then knowing that how he actually became an X-Men is also pretty neat too. I've noticed that a lot of these books, they tell a different version of a character's background, and it kind of brings more out about it. And the more you read about them, the more you're going to learn. You make you feel like you are that character. You kind of start sympathizing yourself with what the character goes through or how they determine themselves. So it's pretty neat. This cover is really kind of pretty wild. It does have the new style print, new style barcode here. And there are actually 15 different variants to this specific book cover. But this is the book number 1A. Let's take a look. This book values around $4 or $5 for a copy. Now, there are a few books here where there's one 25th, it's $25. One that's one 100, it's a $50 book. Second printing, third printing, all $4 books. There's a blank cover. Blank cover is usually a white color book where it's blank, just says the name on it and the edition. And that allows the author or cover artist to actually draw something else. So when you go to like a convention, you meet that person, you get their signature, and they draw on it, increasing the value of the book itself. Usually I see those with like highly sought after books or highly sought after artists. Not just everybody, but it's pretty neat that Gambit got one of those books just too. So I don't have any of the top ones for this set here. Most of them are all $4 books. But those top two, the one and 125 is really pretty good, $25 book, and then the 150 is just him with a blank white background. It's pretty cool. So this is that Gambit set here. The other two, the two expensive covers are variant covers, one by Salvador La Roca, and the other one is, of course, by Peach Momoko, which, if you're familiar with comics, Peach Momoko has a very unique style, and I love the way she does her artwork. So that'd be a book that I would want to try to get in the future, just because it's a beautiful color book. But X-Men, or Gambit number 1. Then I've got a Gambit number 2, same series. Now, this is actually another key comic. The specific about this book here is that it's the first appearance of Solad, a business mogul. So this is where Gambit teams up with his Assassin's Guild and Storm, and becoming the X-Men, goes from one to the next. But then he teams up with this person here. The introduction of this new character kind of provides, substance of why Gambit's doing the things he's doing and how he handles business. So really cool. I really like this artwork on the cover. You see his cards here, just sunglasses in the back. And you can see there's like a little quarrel in the background here. You got like the people with the guns and stuff in the background, just different neat, right? So this book here is a $4 book. Came out in 2022 as well. And there are 3 variant covers for this. None of them are more than $4. So nothing too crazy there looking wise, right? So that's a pretty decent book there. I have a second copy of that, rather, so that's pretty neat to have 2 copies. Why not? If I need to have 2, I got 2. I believe I ended up having one of them, and then I bought one as like a group. So I ended up buying like a lot of Gambit books at one time, and then they just got sent in like that separate. So I have a second one. I can get rid of it. No big deal. So Gambit number 3, I have 2 copies of this as well, right here. Both in high condition. It's pretty neat, just the difference between it. This is a Chris Claremont style of comic here. You'll see the names up here as well, number 3. Anything X-Men, Chris Claremont is pretty awesome. So if you're a big fan of his drawings and writing style, why not? He's a great illustrator, okay? Or writer, excuse me. So anyways, I like this cover. It's very interesting. You see Gambit right here in the front. And then you got the other characters. This is Storm back here. And I'm not sure if this is Colossal, who this is, but definitely looks more like an X-Men style character here. Pretty neat though. I think the drawing is pretty awesome. And then again, this is a 5 book series, so very small, nothing too crazy here. I do have 2 of the 4s as well. Same series. They are both standard copies. They didn't make any newsstand of these here. The one thing about these newer books is there's not a lot of newsstand copies. You might get some that are newsstand, but it's not common anymore. Most of them just have this original, digital stuff inside. They say digital edition inside or whatever, right? And gives you the price and so from there. So, but I got 2 copies of this book here. I like this cover, pretty neat as well. On the cover again, it's Chris Claremont, and this is like I'm not sure if this is like who that is. It looks like a female version of Gambit, essentially. Pretty neat. So interesting there. And then I do have book number 5. Now, book number 5 is kind of intriguing. I didn't know much that it was a 5th book, honestly, because most of his books series only have 4 books into it. But pretty significant looking book. I really enjoyed the way he does it. I never knew that Gambit's staff lit up like a lightsaber, and that's pretty cool. So when you look at this drawing on the top, you end up seeing Gambit's light, his staff come across here, across the neck, and whatever creatures this is, he's battling, and he's got this light up like I said, like a lightsaber. Pretty neat. You see the Gambit name up top here. You got the artist up here as well, and then you've got him taking down this creature. Pretty cool. Definitely really. Well, can't wait to read this book here, but I really like this cover art. So this book is, like I said, a series from 2022, so relatively new. So that's going to be it for today. Nothing too crazy, about 25-minute video discussing some of these books that I kind of like to have. I like the artwork, which is what I think attracts me to some of these books. I like the character, which is pretty cool as well. So there's a guy I like to follow on YouTube and Instagram. It's called Lunch Money Comics. And his name's Mike. And he likes a lot of cool stuff. The one thing I think I like about him is that anything Nightcrawler, anything X-Men, he has to collect. Like, it's just what it is. He doesn't have a lot of graded comics, and he does that for a reason. On his back wall, you'll see like all these graded comic stuff in his basement. You see I had the pictures and things up here that I've got since I've been in Japan, and then obviously my Pokemon and Dragon Ball stuff back here. But when it comes to comics, I like characters that I like, and that's what it comes down to. One thing I can say about collecting in the community is don't chase the FOMO, the fear of missing out. I say that because all that's going to do is drive up market value for a book that's not worth it. And I'll give you an example. When a movie comes out, like Kraven. When Kraven trailer came out, all the original copies of Spider-Man where Kraven made his first, second appearance or a cameo appearance in have come up in price. Not because they're not a good book. And believe me, they're good books. And they're highly sought after because Kraven's a big character in the series. But they increased because just the movie came, or the trailer came out, right? And if the movie or trailer's not any good, then either prices dip or they increase, right? Whether I agree with it or not, that's irrelevant. I think that books should be, should increase in value based off of, age of book, type of a part of the storyline that comes into it, how significant is that character in the storyline. And Kraven, we know, is a big character when it comes to Spider-Man. And the artwork and stuff on the cover, like that's a big one too. And obviously condition has a big part to play in that. But, but at the end of the day, collect what you like. If you like Spider-Man, collect Spider-Man books. If you like Superman, collect Superman books. Like, don't let someone tell you, oh, that book's terrible. Nah, don't look at that book. That's a stupid book. Why are you clicking them? Because people are out there like that. There are people out there in this community that'll put you down for liking something that's different. Or they'll put you down because you have a nice expensive book that they want to take it from you. So, oh, that's a terrible book, right? I'll buy it off you for half the price. And people buy into that kind of stuff. They do. It's pretty crappy, actually. Not only that, in the comics, it's the same thing in Pokemon industry and other trading card stuff, right? It's pretty crazy. People in this world, in this community, can be very uplifting, but they can also be really damn ruthless. It's a shame. So let me know what you like to collect. Some things you're going to see over the course of the next few videos are going to be, X-Men stuff. I love X-Men books. I love Spider-Man books. I know I'm never going to own like Amazing Spider-Man #1. I'll pump the brakes. It's like a $15,000 book. I know I'm never going to own that book, and that's fine. If I do, and it's a 0.5 or a 1.0, I'm cool with that too. But I'm not going to get a high-grade book. It's just not going to happen. I don't have lots of money, and nor is that even feasible for me to even think about getting, right? I'm not sure if I even held that book in my hand, if I would, I'd have to have double gloves on, everything, because it's such a prestigious, expensive style book, right? But, yeah, so when I see good deals, I pick some books up that I like. So what I do is I subscribe to Key Collector Comics. It's a website and an app where I'm able to take the books and see which ones I like. And so if I go to the main page, and I'm actually online right now with it. If I go to the main page, the cool thing about it is it gives you options to pick the hot books, the top books that are out right now. Pretty cool. So if you go, let me see, I can go here real quick. Main page. All right. So you go to the main page, it talks about as a randomizer, it'll randomize the books for you to kind of identify things that you may or may not like. They talk about news of the week, so they give you something every single day, some new book, some new movie article to come out, or books up in price or down in price for a reason, a new sale that's happening. They do what they call the trending 20, the top trending 20 comic books. Are they going up? Are they going down? They give you the hot 10, and they give you key updates. Key updates is updating us on different aspects of the comics that we think are important. Like if I go to key updates right now, it'll talk about Legion. Legion is the top book on this one. So Legion is from IDW. It's an independent company, and it's from 2007. And they talk about how this is it's not necessarily like a key comic, but what it's saying here, it's a key comic for this run. It's a standalone tale of demons and destruction, courtesy of film director, writer, artist Salvatore Sanz. And so it's got a really cool like artwork to it, but it's gonna say, hey, the book at a high grade is $25. That's a roundabout item number. It's not 100% guaranteed. The cool thing about this app is that you can go down to the button and you can click on the eBay button. So there's an eBay link right to it. I'll click on the eBay for this book. It takes you right to eBay where the books might be at, right? And actually, it took me to laptop. So obviously, that one's not a great, but maybe because that book's not selling. Maybe it's not a common book, you know? Let's see if I can find something that's in here. Legion of Heroes, not what I'm looking for. Adventure, Superhero Legions. Yeah, it doesn't even link it right to the book, because that must mean that this book is not even really for sale. And so that's something to think about. When you go there trying to find these books, you might not find what you think you're trying to find. That's because maybe no one's selling it. Maybe it's not that, it's so sought after, no one wants to sell their book, right? Another one in here is Wonder Woman 1984, #1. It came out in 2020. Essentially, it is a rendition of the movie. It's pretty neat. They also have one here called Adventures of Superman, #443. This came out in 1988. It's a variant DC Comics. Just keep going down. Strange Tales 186 talks about variants. So there's a variant out there where it's a 25-cent comic and a 30-cent comic. The 30-cent comic is highly sought after. Not that many out that way. So it just keeps going down. And as you can try to find it, it's pretty neat. You'll learn a lot about the books that you might be interested in. And if you're not really sure if you're interested in a certain book, maybe you'll find it here. I have found a ton of books that I didn't realize I was actually going to like, or the cover art was great, that I was like, I never would have seen it before if it wasn't for a key collector. So if you haven't subscribed to 101 Tom, he's also one of the key creators of Key Collector app. He is on YouTube. I'd recommend you check him out. He's got I think he's based out of California, but super awesome, super knowledgeable. And he's also on Whatnot, right? But this guy knows ins and outs of all the comics. You wouldn't think so. You see him, you're like, what the heck? And you start listening to him talk, and you're like, wow, this guy's a resident freaking expert. So recommend you looking into him too. I know a little bit, but Comic Tom or 101 Comic Tom knows a ton of stuff about comics, okay? Or, like I said, Lunch Money Comics. Check out Mike as well, right? So, hopefully that you enjoy this video as much as I did. I realized by making the video that I may not know as much about my comics as I thought I did. And that's the one reason I want to do these videos. Not only to educate myself, but also to educate you as the viewer and maybe get you more involved, more, into the comics than you may or may not have been in the first place. So let me know what you think, right? Hit the likes button, hit the subscribe, do all that other stuff. It's whatever. I got 33 subscribers now. Woo for me. Maybe one day I'll hit 50. I don't know, right? But I like doing this because it gives me something extra to do. And it's kind of outside the box for me, right? But anyways, that's it for me.
1, 2, 3, 4.